Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Parent and Caregiver Corner. Today we are going to talk about grandparents using the help of resources by 0to3.org. So let's start with an utmost appreciation for grandparents. I couldn't find exact numbers for Canada, but in the United States, it's actually estimated that 1 out of 4 children under the age of 5 are cared for by a grandparent, while the child's parents work or go to school. So that's a lot. There are many parents who rely on their own parents to assist with childcare. And there are even families as well where the grandparents are the primary caregivers for a child. If you're a parent listening in, 0 to 3 provides some planning tips for sharing childcare between generations. So if you're heading back to work or circumstances in your life have changed and you're in need of your parents' help with childcare, try discussing these questions prior to sharing the care. So number 1, what schedule works for both the parent and the grandparent? Whose home is most comfortable and what hours. So you're going to want to set a schedule and discuss these things. Number 2, what are your guiding principles as a parent regarding sleep, meal time, disciplined behavior, screen time? Remember, childcare and parenting may look different now than it did when your parents were parenting you. So make sure grandparents know which rules are carved in stone and which are more flexible. Number 3, payment. So this can be an awkward and uncomfortable conversation, but it's important to have to ensure that you are both on the same page. Some grandparents just want to spend sweet time with their grandchildren, but there are others who might be struggling financially and could really use that extra support. Number 4, talk about how you're going to handle disagreements. This is always better done before the disagreement happens. Number 5, how you're going to communicate about care. So parents like to know if their child has had a bowel movement in the day, right? You want to ensure that the grandparent knows this is something to keep track of, or maybe the grandparent will benefit from knowing that the child didn't sleep very well the night before. So make sure you have a system in place for these conversations. Number 6, what do we consider an emergency and how will they be handled? So this could be really pertinent if your child has allergies. Number 7, how will we present challenges and make changes to the agreement? So you both need to be open to change when things aren't working, and that should be discussed prior to settling on a child care agreement. So now for those of you who have been sharing care with your child's grandparents and you feel so very appreciative of the help that you receive, I hope that you can send this to them so they know that they are loved and valued for the help that they provide. They'll also receive some resources and tips in the following portion of this talk. Hello, grandparents. It's nice to have you. This remainder of the chat will be for you. So 0 to 3 offers a site full of resources specifically tailored to you. There's information about parenting hot topics that have changed since you've been a parent, for example, different types of discipline. There is information about best ways to make the most out of everyday moments, how to put a baby to bed, helping with meal times, and navigating screen time. I've attached the link in the description, but we're going to go over some of these topics together right now. So let's talk about what's new in child rearing versus what's the same. So what's new? Number 1, we have eating. Did you know that even babies and toddlers can tell when their tummies are full? And it's actually okay to encourage them to listen to their bodies and decide how much to eat from a selection of healthy options. It's no longer encouraged to have a child sit with their plate until it's finished. Number 2, sleeping. So babies should be put to sleep on their backs and spend time on their tummies while awake. Number 3 is discipline. So This is a rather big one. While the debate of spanking has been going on for a very long time, we now have all experts in alignment to agree that spanking doesn't work long term and can actually have negative effects. There are other alternative ways to manage misbehavior, and one of the biggest helpers is to reframe your idea of the behavior. So you can try following the ABC method. So instead of thinking, okay, behavior to consequence, we're actually viewing it, okay, there was an antecedent that caused a behavior that results in a consequence. So what caused the misbehavior? What is the antecedent? And how can we help prevent it from occurring again? This could be something as simple as the TV being too loud. And when the consequence is needed, we can try to redirect the child, or maybe even practice a time in with some deep breaths and quiet time. Number 4, the last or second to last thing here that is new is early brain development. So research has taught us so much about the brain in early years. We know that babies and young children are building more than 1 million new brain connections every single second. And a loving, responsive caregiver is the best tool in building great brain connections. The last new item is technology. This is obviously new and will likely continue to evolve, but here's a rule of thumb. Other than FaceTiming faraway family, grandparents included, children under 18 months should avoid screen time if possible. Children 18 months to 5 years, it's recommended that they get about 1 hour per day of good for kids screen content. These are things like PBS Parents or Sesame Street, but these programs are best to be experienced together. So watch these shows together. At the end of the day, screens shouldn't be used as an at-home babysitter or as a baby distractor. As easy as it can be to do that. And then we have a few things that are the same. For many, many years now, we have always known that kids still learn from play. And the best toys have been around for a long time. Blocks, shapes, even pots and pans can offer a lot of learning opportunities. Number 2 is talking with babies and young children was and is a great way to help with language and attachment. Number 3, reading is another great staple in building a relationship between you and the child and between the child and books. And then finally, of course, unconditional love has not changed. Let your grandkids know that you are in their corner no matter what. If any of these topics sparked your interest, if any were new or surprising, have a chat with your grandchildren's parents or your adult children. Be open and honest about how things are different or the same and how you are handling the wonderful job of being a grandparent. And if you're interested in a guided session to have these conversations, send us your name and we'll add you to a waitlist for an upcoming new workshop for grandparent caregivers and their adult children. Any other questions, do not hesitate to reach out or leave a comment below. And you can also reach out to us here at the center if need be. Happy Wednesday!